Are you thinking about going to college? In this video, we're going to talk about the pros and cons of going to college, and I'll tell you what I think. Watch the entire video. I think you're going to get a lot of great information here. Look, this is a big debate. The world is changing. I would argue that 20 years ago, going to college, getting advanced degrees had a lot of value. Today, that value is going down every single year, and they're almost becoming worthless because the world is changing. How we get our information is changing. How we communicate is changing. Back when I was going through high school and college, there was no internet. You couldn't get information any other way. Today, you can go online just to YouTube and learn almost anything you want to learn. It's amazing how much we can learn. How much more important self-education is than formal education. That's the most important thing. Now, what you have to do is you have to think of this like an investor, just like I would. If I had $200,000, where would I put it? I would put it where I'm going to get the highest cash-on-cash return. If you tell me, hey, you give me $200,000, I can make you $200,000 or 100% profit, I'll be like, okay, well, let's talk more. With college, you're putting in $200,000 for an average 4-year degree, and you're coming out with a job that's going to pay you $50,000. You're barely going to be able to pay that debt back. It makes no sense. The average student in America takes 21.1 years to pay off their student debt. That is crazy. The way it's supposed to work is you're supposed to pay it off in 5 to 10 years, but again, the average student takes over 20 years to pay off their debt. The system is broken, so you got to be really careful. Look, if you're going to go to college and you're going to be able to do it for free and come out with no debt or very, very little debt, then the equation might make sense. If you're going to spend $10,000 on college, like I did, and you're going to come out with a 4-year degree and make $50,000, okay, now the numbers are making a little more sense as an investor. So think of it like an investor. I would much rather have you take that $200,000, buy your first home, buy a multifamily, house hack. That's going to pay you every month for the rest of your life or as long as you own that property. Now that makes sense as an investor. So you really, really got to think about what are you getting out of this? Everybody's fixated on getting that degree or getting that real estate license, or I'm going to have an MBA or whatever it is, thinking that's going to change their life. It's not. It is not going to change your life. Basically, it's a piece of paper that you can hang on your wall. I have an undergraduate degree and a medical degree, and I don't even know where they are right now. I literally couldn't even find them if you asked me to. Maybe they're buried in my closet somewhere, but I don't even know. That's how much value I put on those 2 degrees. Some of the pros of going to college is that it does help you socialize. It does help you mature. It opens your eyes to other things. It does give you some level of higher level thinking and education. So I'm not saying ignore those things, but you can also go to college and still work on something entrepreneurial and wealth building at the same time. I understand when you're 17 and 18 and you're just starting out in this world, maybe 4 years of college or even 3 years of college is a really good thing to help you mature and understand how the world works. That's really a personal decision. Some people are already mature and they're ready to go out and make it happen. Other people just need more time. I don't know you. That's a personal decision that you're going to have to make. Talk to people around you and see what they would recommend based on your particular situation. The other important point that I alluded to earlier is you absolutely can do real estate and go to college at the same time. The average undergraduate college degree isn't that difficult. If you're finding it extremely difficult, then you may need to rethink what you're doing. You should be able to do college with 30 hours a week. And when you consider there's 168 hours in every week, you should have plenty of time to put another 30, maybe even 40 hours into real estate. That's 2 full-time jobs that you can do and still be successful at both. And especially when you're young, you should have the time and energy to do these kind of things. You don't have all the other things to worry about, like a family, a mortgage, all these other things that you have to worry about when you become an adult. So think about it. There's nothing stopping you from doing both. And even if you don't want to do real estate long-term as your profession, it's still something to learn about how to build wealth, maybe do it on the side. It's something that's so important, and I feel like everybody should be learning about investing in real estate. It's a no-brainer. You need to get that education, and this is something you're going to have to self-educate yourself on. So again, think about the difference. I went to medical school. That's not self-education, that's formal education. As long as you show up and you do the work and you pass the test, you're going to become a doctor. They tell you exactly what to do, what books to read, what classes to attend, what knowledge you need to acquire. Everything is handed to you in a silver platter. That's the big difference between that and building wealth or doing something entrepreneurial. You're not going to have any of that stuff handed to you. You're going to have to figure it out. Now, taking programs like mine, courses like mine, we can help you significantly, but at the end of the day, when you're an entrepreneur, you got to figure out the road yourself. There is no beaten path, so to speak. You got to figure it out. So that's a big difference. If you're the type of person that really needs everything handed to them, then consider law school, medical school, accounting, where it's all handed to you and you know exactly what to do. If you want to build wealth, you're going to have to figure out yourself. So that's the big difference between self-education and formal education. Both, you have to learn something, but in formal education, they're going to tell you exactly what to do. With self-education, you got to figure it out and design your own classes, so to speak, your own schedule, all of those type of things. Before we end, I want to talk about another very important topic that I get asked all the time. What should I study in college if I want to do real estate? The answer is nothing. There is absolutely nothing in college that's going to help you if you want to be a real estate investor and build wealth. I know people who've done master's degrees in real estate development and still have no clue how to develop a building. Look, all of formal education is designed to get you a job. If you do a master's in real estate development, it's designed for you to work for someone like me. That's what it's designed for, so that's what it's going to do. So there's nothing that you can study in college that's going to help you do what I do. If you want to do this, you've got to self-educate yourself. If you have a little bit of a background in accounting, a little bit of background in law, if you have a little bit of background in architecture, all these things will help, but it's like a 5%, 2% type of help. It's really something that isn't going to help you much at all. I'm none of those things, and I'm very successful at wealth building and real estate development and real estate investing. I learned all of this by myself. There was a day when I knew nothing, and I went on this journey to self-educate myself, and this is where I am today. So again, in summary, it's up to you. There are advantages going to college, but it's becoming less and less important every year. You have to decide if you want to do it, and if you do, please don't get into a lot of debt. Either do it for free or take on very little debt, because if you take on a lot of debt, it can sink you for the next 20 years. You're going to have to worry about how to pay off that debt. You're going to be running a marathon and starting 10 miles behind the other competitors. It makes no sense. So those are the important things to understand about college. The ultimate decision is up to you. There is no right or wrong, but you've got to consider all these important factors that I just talked about. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Turn on your notifications so you don't miss any important videos in our frequently asked questions section. These are the most frequent questions we get, and I'm here on YouTube to give you a longer explanation.